And a pleasant good evening to everyone. Welcome to McDonald Stadium tonight. The host of the El Dorado Broncos and Hayes Larks game. Game 3 of the 4-game series. The Broncos winning the doubleheader last night, 2-1 and 5-1. Great to have you tuned in. Kurt Caden with you for this broadcast tonight. 1 9-inning game is scheduled, and we are about ready for action. Had several nice moments here before we were able to go on. The Legion Riders came out onto the field with their motorcycles, veterans, the color guard, and we had a young man of 92 or 93 years old throw out the first pitch tonight. So terrific stuff here at McDonald Stadium. As big a crowd as I've seen in my 2 years of broadcasting here for the Broncos. So just a terrific atmosphere for baseball on this 4th of July, and happy 4th of July to one and all. Both clubs are wearing their camouflage uniforms tonight. The Hayes Larks have a kind of a gray camouflage with the royal blue numeral, blue lettering with red trim. The Broncos in their orange camouflage uniforms and black numerals and black lettering with white trim. The Broncos in white pants. The Larks are in gray pants. So El Dorado, with that doubleheader sweep last night, improving to 14-8 in the Jayhawk Northern Division. Liberal won last night, so the Broncos 2 games behind Liberal. The BJs are playing a doubleheader tonight as they are hosting Dodge City. They were postponed on Thursday night. Went to Dodge last night. Liberal won. Now back to Liberal tonight for a doubleheader. Hayes comes into play tonight with an 11-12 record. They're 5.5 games out of first place. Dodge City is 10-12, 6 games back. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First, the batting order for the Hayes Larks. Michael Burns will lead off, playing center field. Brooks Ballesteri will bat second. Reggie Wilson is third. Derek Mount, the second baseman, bats fourth. Evan Gruner will bat fifth. Derek Dickerson is behind the plate, batting sixth. Corky Welch is the designated hitter tonight. He is batting seventh. Alan Beer is the shortstop. He will bat eighth, and Carter Hankins, the first baseman, and he bats ninth. Aaron Fletcher is on the hill for Hayes. For the El Dorado Broncos, Clayton Dalrymple had a pretty darn good night last night. He leads off, plays right field. Tyler Sutherland will bat second and play left field. Wade Hanna is in center field. Matt Holcomb is batting fourth. John Eberhardt fifth. Josh Galvin sixth. Tony Colsing will bat seventh. Grant Ware in the eighth spot playing shortstop, and Jake Woodkey will bat ninth at second base. So in the field, kind of went a little out of order. The Broncos in the field and the outfield. It's Dalrymple in right, Hanna in center, Sutherland in left field. On the infield, Colsing's at third base, Grant Ware at shortstop, Jake Woodkey at second, Matt Holcomb at first. Josh Galvin is catching tonight, and pitching for El Dorado is Andrew Morales. Andrew Morales, 6 foot, 160-pounder from Kentucky Wesleyan College. His home is Carmel, Indiana. On the season, Morales has gone 19 innings. He's given up 16 hits. He has a 1.89 ERA, and he is 3-0 on the season. 11 walks to 10 strikeouts for Morales. So we're about ready for baseball here tonight from beautiful McDonald Stadium. Sunshine, 89 degrees, decent breeze blowing across the outfield from right to left. And leading off will be Michael Burns for the Larks. And the first pitch just inside for ball one. So a 1-0 count on Michael Burns, and he'll look at strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike to Burns. Burns coming into the game, .351 batter, 97 at bats. He has had the most at bats of anyone on the Larks. Fouls off the 1-1 pitch. It's 1-2. Burns with 34 hits and 97 tries. He's got 7 doubles, 2 triples, 6 RBIs. He's walked 8 times, and he's struck out 8 times. He has 8 stolen bases. He, much like Clayton Dalrymple for El Dorado, can be a real nuisance for pitchers when he's on the base pads. Here's one up the middle. Grant Ware dives, but that's a clean base hit for Michael Burns. So a good start for the Larks here tonight. Hayes was limited to just 2 runs last night in the 2 7-inning games. 1 run in game 1, 1 run in game 2. El Dorado on a 4-game winning streak coming into action here tonight. El Dorado with a doubleheader sweep here Monday night over Wellington and a doubleheader sweep last night over the Larks. So game 3 of the 4-game series, and Brooks Ballesteri up there, and he looks at a curveball for strike 1. Ballesteri just .217 on the season. 10 hits in 46 at bats. Morales has his sign. Burns gets his lead and the pitch, and a late swing fouled out of play, and 0-2 quickly. Reggie Wilson waits on deck. So the third game that I've seen the Larks this year, and again, a very different lineup each time as far as the batting order is concerned. So 0-2 to Ballesteri, and he looks at a close one. It's ball 1. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'd be strange to play 1 9-inning game tonight after the last 4 games for the Broncos that we've broadcast here on YouTube have been 7-inning games. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ballesteri. And the curveball high, great jump by Burns, and he's going to steal the base. We saw this last night from the Larks, especially from Burns and from Reggie Wilson. They take a small lead to start, and then they almost get a running start to second. And the Bronco pitchers haven't been able to catch them as they've darted off the base. That was a terrific jump by Burns, and really no chance there for Galvin. So down at second base is Burns, his 9th. I'm surprised he only has 9 stolen bases on the season. He seems to have a pretty good read out there. Morales has seen the count go full here on Ballesteri. Shadows covering home plate. Most of the field drenched in beautiful sunlight here in El Dorado. And the pitch, high, ball 4. And Burns is really kind of pestering with Morales on the mound, and Andrews seems to be a little quick home, and that pitch stayed up high, and he walks Ballesteri. So a single, a stolen base, and now a walk. 2 men on for the Larks, and here's Reggie Wilson. Left-handed batter is Reggie Wilson out of Oklahoma City University. And here's a throwback to Burns, and he's back safely. Wilson's hometown is Beaumont, Texas. And there's a pitch, curveball stayed out. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big Wilson now with no one's. Burns has a first quick young 1 strike deck. Burns dancing off of second base. Wilson looks at strike 2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Larks with 2 on and no one out here in the top of the first inning. Morales has his sign. Ware sneaking in. Wilson again, or Burns, I should say, just continues dancing off that base. Reggie Wilson, sorry we drifted off the air there for a moment. Reggie Wilson struck out swinging as we lost our connection. And now Andrew Morales and Josh Galvin got crossed up there, and got to be probably a pass ball, which will allow the runners to second and third. The constant sounds of fireworks. You might be able to hear those in the background. Probably going to go off most of the evening, I would imagine. We're going to have a fireworks show here at the stadium at the conclusion of this game. The 1-0 pitch up high, ball 2 to Derek Mount. So Derek Mount now ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Burns is at third base, Ballesteri at second base, 1 away in the Lark first inning. And the pitch from Morales, that one's in there for strike 1. Mount, 369 batter. 24 hits and 65 at bats. He's gone yard 3 times this season, and he has 12 runs batted in. So the 2-1 pitch from Morales on its way. Curveball drops into the bucket for strike 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Morales would love a strikeout here. The pitch and a swing and a miss from Mount, and a huge strikeout for Morales. Back-to-back huge strikeouts for Morales, and now here comes Evan Gruner. And the Larks are in need of a 2-out hit. Evan Gruner, 220 on the season, and he is leading the Larks in strikeouts this year. He's struck out 19 times. Left-handed batter is Gruner, and the pitch from Morales is fouled out of play, strike 1. Evan Gruner from Bradley University. He's from Rogersville, Missouri. No balls and 1 strike from Morales. That pitch curves in there, strike 2, and Morales is a pitch away from getting out of big-time trouble here in the top of the first inning. Two runners on for the Larks, 2 batters out, top of the first. Morales has his sign. He winds and deals the pitch high and away, ball 1. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Josh Galvin behind the plate tonight for El Dorado. And the 1-2 pitch. Check swing, and looked like he checked it. No appeal even from the Broncos. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Welcome any emails from any of you watching and listening out there tonight. Feel free to drop us a line, cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. That's C-A-D-E-N, cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. The 2-2 pitch on the corner for strike 3. So Morales strikes out the side. He works around a leadoff single and a walk to get out of trouble here in the first. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 left. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning. Hayes 0, El Dorado coming to bat. So the Broncos work out of trouble in the top half of the first inning, and now they'll look to go to work here in the bottom of the first inning. So the 1-2 pitch from Fletcher fouled away. And Dalrymple fighting to see another pitch here. And a foul tip into the glove of Dickerson for a strikeout. So a good start for Fletcher. So now batting for the Broncos will be Tyler Sutherland. And again, those of you watching and listening, if it's your first time, we are strictly dependent on our wireless internet. And if you've ever dealt with wireless internet, you know that from time to time you can lose connection. And the bad thing when you're broadcasting a game and dependent on that internet and you lose connection, all of a sudden the screen will go black and I just have to reconnect it here and get you back on. So don't panic if the screen goes black for a few seconds. Sutherland looks at a curveball for strike 1. And now fastball in there. He fists it down to third. Ballesteri had to take a moment and gather. That ball had a lot of funky spin on it. And he gathered it and fired out Sutherland to record the second out of the inning. So here comes Wade Hanna. Wade Hanna from Emporia State, 5'10", 175. His hometown is Shawnee, Kansas. Wade Hanna, the second leading hitter on the Bronco team at 375. 24 hits and 64 tries. A couple of doubles among those 24 hits. And Hanna has driven in 10. Right-handed batter against the left-handed dealing Fletcher. First pitch a little bit low, ball one. The 1-0 pitch coming into Hanna, and he fouls it off, strike one. Good to have the normal cast of characters in the press box tonight. Statistician Gary, PA Bill, Dale and Gina working the official scorecard and scoreboard. The scoreboard seems to be working, although currently with the bright sunlight on there, it's hard to read, but the numbers are lighting up. It's not working. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. All right. Part of it's working. Hanna fouls off the 1-1 pitch. It's 1-2. The scoreboard just doesn't want to work with Gina early in the game. By the end of the game, it'll probably be working just fine. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wade Hanna. Aaron Fletcher winds and deals. Curveball, just missed the outside corner, ball 2. Last night's doubleheader can be viewed online here on the Kurt Caden YouTube page. There's a swing and a miss by Hanna and a pretty good inning for Fletcher as he strikes out 2. Broncos 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the second inning. El Dorado 0, Hayes 0. Stay tuned. More Bronco baseball coming up here on YouTube. So an 0-1 count to Corky Welch, and this one gets past Galvin. So Corky Welch, who is trying to sacrifice the Broncos, did the hard work for him. Wild pitch will allow Dickerson down to second base. Now, what does El Dorado want to do? They want to try to get the runner down to third base. Welch, right-handed batter. And he lifts one out to center field. Wade Hanna started back, now comes in and makes the catch. That one just kind of looked funky off the bat. It sounded good, but it didn't have that explosion off the bat. And so Hanna, I think, heard the sound and he took a step back, then realized it wasn't carrying as far as maybe he had anticipated and still made a relatively easy catch. So one away. And here's Alan Beer. Beer did not play in either game last night. And he'll look at a curveball for strike one. Beer in just his 9th game, batting 176, 6 hits and 34 at-bats. And he's been struck out 10 times in 34 at-bats. So that's been a bit of an issue for him early here in the season for him. No balls and a strike from Morales, and the pitch outside corner, strike two. Carter Hankins waits on deck. Campbell, the leading hitter for the Larks, I was told suffered an injury, and so we haven't seen him in any of the first 3 games of this series. And a swing and a miss for Beer for strike 3. So losing Campbell for this huge road series for the Larks, certainly not helping their cause. He is their best hitter at .427. Leading RBI guy with 18. Puts the ball in play, only 9 strikeouts and 75 at-bats for Campbell. But again, he's dealing with some injury right now, so not in the lineup tonight. Hope to see him maybe tomorrow night. Here's Carter Hankins, the first baseman, with Dickerson down at second base, and Morales' pitch into the turf, and that will allow Dickerson to go to third. Wild pitch. Morales has been kind of up and down here. He's got a walk, a couple of wild pitches, but he's also got 4 strikeouts. 1 ball and no strike to Hankins. And the pitch inside fastball for ball 2. Carter Hankins from Pearl River Community College. He's from Purvis, Mississippi. And the 2-0 pitch. That one's upstairs, ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes. The leadoff batter, Michael Burns, waits on deck. Hankins hitting .357 on the season. And the 3-0 pitch. That one's in there for strike 1, and now Hankins will go to work. He's taking all the way there. Our email address, cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Always fun to see who's watching and listening out there on the internet. Here's a tapper to short, and that was actually off the foot of Hankins. That hurts. So Hankins tries to walk that off. He's going to be dealing with a 3-2 count. Taking his time, trying to get some feeling, but it just does not feel good when you foul one right down. He's got protection on his shin, but I think that one got him right on the top of the foot. Oh, that hurts. Not a whole lot of padding there. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Morales winds and deals. Curveball in there, strike 3. So for the second straight inning, the Larks strand a runner at third base. No runs, a hit. A couple of wild pitches, 1 left. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. Hayes 0, El Dorado 0. So for the second straight So the El Dorado Broncos come up here in the bottom half of the second inning, and they'll deal with Aaron Fletcher, who breezed through the top half of the first inning. Hayes has threatened in their 2 at-bats, but hasn't scored, and the Broncos went 1, 2, 3 in their only at-bat. They'll see if they can string something together here in the second inning. Holcomb fires, hits one down the right field line, just foul. Matt went that way last night on a hit and run. He also hit one out to right field that Reggie Wilson dove and missed. Holcomb figured he had an easy double, but Wilson had other ideas and threw an absolute strike to second base to throw out Holcomb. So no balls and a strike. Matt Holcomb hitting .371 on the season. Currently the 3rd leading hitter on this Bronco squad. Here's the 0-1 and tapped it foul off of his thigh, so it's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to Matt Holcomb, dealing with Aaron Fletcher, who's looked very good. Here, of course, very early still. Bottom of the second inning, no score. And the pitch from Fletcher, and Holcomb lifts it out to right field. Gruner looking into the sun, but no problem there to make the catch on Matt Holcomb. Matt put pretty good wood on it, but right at Gruner. Wilson was in right field last night. He's over in left tonight. Gruner was in left last night. He's over in right. John Eberhardt coming up, young man from Kentucky Wesleyan College. You'll hear that college a lot here during our broadcast. The Broncos have 3 players from Kentucky Wesleyan. Eberhardt looks at strike 1. Eberhardt, .328 on the season. He's driven in 15. And with his family here in the crowd, he had a pretty good night last night in game 2. He'll look at ball 1. Eberhardt in game 2 last night had a triple, run scored, and a single. 2 for 3. 1-1 pitch to John Eberhardt. And the pitch, he's way out in front of that off speed, and it's 1-2. Josh Galvin waits on deck for El Dorado. Terrific crowd, terrific atmosphere here tonight for this Saturday night 4th of July contest between the Larks and the Broncos. Here's the pitch, and going the other way is Eberhardt. Hankins gloves it. A little bit of a bobble on his way over to first, but gathered it and retires Eberhardt for the second out. So here comes Josh Galvin. Galvin got off to a red-hot start this season, but he's been fighting it a bit. And now his average down to .234. Of the 3 catchers, Galvin has played in the most games. Cameron Knight has the best average of the 3. Left-handed batter is Galvin, and he started off with a curveball, and that's in there for strike 1. Galvin, 47 at-bats on the season, 11 hits. He's had 3 doubles. He's gone yard once, and he's driven in 8. The 0-1 pitch from Fletcher, and that one's right in there for strike 2. Fletcher in a very nice groove here early in this game. And the 0-2 pitch to Galvin on its way, and that one's spiked for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Josh Galvin, 2 away in the home half of the second inning. No score between the Larks and the Broncos. Aaron Fletcher fires a curveball, and Galvin fooled badly, and that's strike 3. So 3 up, 3 down for Fletcher again. We'll head to the 3rd inning. El Dorado and Hayes scoreless. Back in a moment here on YouTube. And welcome back here to McDonald Stadium. We head to the top half of the third inning. Hayes and El Dorado, no score. These teams have played competitive games. The Broncos have had the better of Hayes, though, as the Broncos won 3 out of 4 out at Hayes earlier in the season, and they've won the first 2 here tonight, or in this series, so 5 out of 6 for the Broncos. Galvin took a while for him to get out of the dugout. I'm not sure if he had any equipment issue or what. Eventually, Morales had to quit throwing pitches. He only allotted a certain amount in between innings, and Noah Lee had to go back, and so we had waiting for Josh to arrive, but he's back out there. And here's Michael Burns leading off for the Larks in the top half of the third inning. Colsing sneaks in a little bit at third, and Burns looks at strike one. Didn't like the call as he ponders that strike one call, and now he's back in the box. Burns singled in the first inning, stole second, was stranded at third. And he chops one to short. Ware's got it, got to unload in a hurry, and he does, and a solid throw over to first base to retire Burns. Burns and Wilson are two guys, especially that I've noticed at least, that you want to keep off the base paths because they're just pests out there. Brooks Ballesteri up now. His first at bat, he walked, advanced on a pass ball, and was stranded at second base in the first inning. First pitch from Morales in there for strike one. Morales getting out in front here, the first couple of batters in this third inning. Ballesteri, right-handed batter, and the 0-1. Punch towards second base. Woodkey makes the play, fires over to first to retire Ballesteri. Jake Woodkey had to move, and he did a nice job of it there and got into a good throwing position and retired Ballesteri for the second out of the inning. So with 2 away in the top of the third, Reggie Wilson, the left fielder, comes up. Wilson was the first of 3 straight strikeouts for Morales, and he pushes one down third. They're going to have to, well, they probably should have just let it go. Maybe it could have gone foul, but an excellent bunt by Reggie Wilson, and he's aboard with 2 away, a bunt single. Galvin really had no chance. The only chance he had there was to hope it would hit a pebble and go foul. So that'll bring up Derek Mount. That's the third hit of the game for the Hayes Larks. Mount struck out in his last at bat, and he looks at ball one. That one just missed from Andrew Morales. Morales 3-0 on the season. He has been a fine starter for Zach Berry's pitching staff. And here's one grounded out to short. Ware's got it, flips over to Woodkey to retire the side. So no runs, a bunt single, no errors, and 1 left, and we will head to the bottom of the third inning. Pitchers dominating here early on. No score between Hayes and El Dorado. So we head to the bottom of the third inning. 0-0 between the Larks and the Broncos. Just a Chamber of Commerce-like night here at the Ball Yard. Aaron Fletcher dealing with Tony Colsing to lead off the third, and he starts him off with strike one. Tony Colsing hitting .221 on the season, 15 hits and 68 at-bats. He has driven in 18 runs. He is the, well, let's see, Holcomb got one in last night, so Holcomb took the team lead with 19. Colsing has 18, and Dalrymple 17 runs batted in. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tony Colsing out of Chaska, Minnesota, and he fouls one out of play, strike two. And I wish I had prizes to give, like for the first emailer of the night, as the 1-2 pitch stays outside, ball two. The Galvins would win quite a bit. Jose and Migdalia, Galvin watching in tonight. I'm sure up in Cicero, Illinois. Wish you could be here, enjoying this beautiful weather and beautiful crowd, but glad you're a part of it online. Here's one hit down to Ballesteri, bobbled a moment, gathers and fires out Colsing at first base. My 4th of July, they asked, I hope I had a good 4th of July. I got to watch my son, who's going to be a senior in high school, run a couple of firecracker fun runs. He's one of those cross-country track and field guys, and he won both races, which was fun. And they had prize money for the winners, but as a high school athlete, you can't accept prize money unless you want to be a pro and then not run any more high school. So he had to turn down a couple of $100 bills. Grant Ware up now for El Dorado. One away in the home half of the third. A 1-0 pitch, and Ware pushes one out to second. Nice play by Mount, and he fires over to first. And Mount came off the first baseman, Hankins, came off the base. So an error on the second baseman. That error will go against Derek Mount. The throw was up the line. Hankins did all he could to try to catch the ball and keep his foot on the base and try to stay out of the way of Grant Ware. So Jake Woodkey now comes up with Grant Ware, the first base runner of the night for El Dorado. And Woodkey swings at strike one. Jake Woodkey got his average now at 163 on the season. Good lead by Ware against the left-hander Fletcher. And Woodkey bunting down the third base line. Ballesteri can't make the play. And that will be a base hit. Going over to third is Ware. Ill-advised. And he was out by a long way. So Ware, again, it's the aggressive base running style of Chad Gerwick. Jake Woodkey will be credited with a single. Ware trying to get to third is cut down 5-1, I believe it was. So not a good base running decision there, especially with Clayton Dalrymple coming up. But that's something you kind of learn to deal with the Broncos. They are very aggressive on the base paths. Unfortunately for El Dorado against the Larks, their aggressiveness has not paid off that much. Although when Clayton Dalrymple did score on that throwing error, that was going to be a close play, but Dalrymple beat that play to win the game, the first game of the doubleheader last night. So Woodkey down at first base, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning. That bunt single by Woodkey was the first hit of the night for El Dorado. 2 balls and no strikes to Clayton Dalrymple. And the pitch, Clayton chops it to Ballesteri at third. He takes a couple of steps, fires to first, and threw it away. And that goes into the bullpen. Here comes Woodkey around third. He'll score. Dalrymple on his way to third. And that is exactly how game one ended last night. The Broncos will take it. So an error on the throw. That's an easy error. And coming all the way around to score is Woodkey. So 2 errors in the inning. Aaron Fletcher doing a great job pitching, but his defense is letting him down, and El Dorado takes a 1-0 lead. And now Sutherland will try to cash in Dalrymple, who stands down at third base. Fletcher fires it in. That's strike one. That throw from Ballesteri looks exactly what we saw to end game one last night. Short hop the first baseman, and when it gets past the first baseman, when it's thrown from third especially, there's a lot of room. Here's a base hit into left center field, and the Broncos take a 2-0 lead. Sutherland on his way to second base. Throw comes in, and an easy stand-up double for Tyler Sutherland. So now Wade Hanna comes up, and the Broncos finally figuring out Aaron Fletcher on their second time through. Colsing led off the inning grounding out. Grant Ware reached on an error. Woodkey with a bunt single, but Ware was erased at third base. A 3-base error given to Ballesteri allowed Dalrymple to reach third and allowed Woodkey to score, and then a double from Tyler Sutherland, their best hit ball of the night, drove in Clayton. 2-0, El Dorado. Wade Hanna struck out in his first at bat. And the pitch from Fletcher. That's in there for strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wade Hanna batting .375 on the season. Right-handed batter from Emporia State University. Defense playing pretty much straight up. Burns out in center field. Here's one fouled into the El Dorado dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes. El Dorado coming into play tonight, 2 games behind first place Liberal. Liberal in a doubleheader tonight against Dodge City. 2-1 pitch coming from Fletcher. Good lead off a second for Sutherland. And Hanna swings and misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Broncos want to take care of home field, and then they're going to be challenged on Monday through Thursday. They travel to Liberal. A huge 4-game series, which could go a long way in deciding who wins the Jayhawk North. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wade Hanna. And the pitch from Fletcher, curveball, and Hanna fouls it out of play. That gets a laugh every time you do that. First. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wade Hanna. Matt Holcomb waits on deck. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away in the El Dorado third. And the pitch, Hanna lifts it out to right field. Shallow right. Gruner comes in a few steps and makes the catch. But the Broncos do damage thanks to a couple of Hayes errors. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 errors, 1 left. We'll head to the 4th inning. El Dorado 2, Hayes 0. Back in a moment here on YouTube. So the El Dorado Broncos scored 2 unearned runs in the third inning, and they take a 2-0 lead. El Dorado, let's see, we played, 14 innings last night, and now 3 more. So in 17 innings, El Dorado has never trailed in this series to Hayes. Leading off is Evan Gruner for the Larks here in the fourth inning, and Andrew Morales starts off Gruner with ball 1. The 1-0 pitch stays upstairs, ball 2. Shadows starting to creep in here at McDonald Stadium as it does this time of evening. Right field, most of the field are still in sun. Josh Galvin behind the plate is in the shadows. If you're joining a little bit late, the Bronco defense has Dalrymple in right, Tyler Sutherland in left, Wade Hanna in center, Tony Colsling's at third, Grant Wares at shortstop, Jake Woodkey at second, and Matt Holcomb at first. Josh Galvin behind the plate. Andrew Morales in his fourth inning of work, but he's fallen behind 3-0 to Evan Gruner. Gruner struck out his first at bat, and he'll take a 4-pitch walk here in his second at bat. So for the third time in 4 innings, the Larks have gotten their leadoff batter aboard. So here's Derek Dickerson. Dickerson singled to lead off the second inning, advanced to second on a wild pitch, then advanced to third on a wild pitch, but was stranded there. Morales starts him off low, ball 1. So 5 out of the zone in a row for Andrew Morales. Two to 0 El Dorado, top half of the fourth inning. Morales quick throw over to first, but barely off was Evan Gruner. He's back safely. We're back on the air tomorrow night for the final game of this series. 7 o'clock first pitch, Hayes at El Dorado. And running is Gruner. Galvin fires it down, and Woodkey with a terrific catch and tag down at second base. Pretty good throw by Galvin, but probably a better play by Woodkey to retire Evan Gruner. So 1 ball and 1 strike now to Derek Dickerson. Not much argument from Gruner down at second base. That was a terrific tag by Woodkey. Curveball did not take, and it stays upstairs, ball 2. So 2 balls and a strike. Hope everyone's having a fun and safe 4th of July. 2 balls and a strike. And this one's hit up the middle. Woodkey ranges, makes the play, fires over to first, and retires Dickerson. Terrific defensive play there by Woodkey. He's made a couple of fine plays in this 4th inning. So 2 away, and here comes Corky Welch. Dickerson's first at bat, he singled right up the middle. This one was headed towards the outfield, but Woodkey stopped it. And here's a swing and a miss, and the bat flew well out of the hands of Corky Welch over the El Dorado Bronco dugout. So the Broncos will retrieve that bat. Welch has some new lumber, but he wants the old lumber back. Galvin trots out and talked with Morales. 2 away in the top of the 4th inning. El Dorado 2, Hayes 0. And after that Crazy first strike. We're ready for action. Morales quickly winds and deals, and this one a check swing foul. And it's 0-2 to Corky Welch. Alan Beer waits on deck for Hayes. No balls and 2 strikes to Corky Welch. Flew out to center field his first time. And this one's in the dirt. Galvin runs it down. No swing, says the first base umpire. Josh seemed pretty convinced there might have been a swing there, so he was hustling after that loose ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Corky Welch. And the pitch, lifted foul, out of play. So it remains 1-2 to Corky Welch. Welch batting .283 on the season. And the 1-2, lifted out to right field. Clayton Dalrymple settling under it and makes the catch to retire the Larks here in the 4th inning. 3 up, 3 down, and leadoff walk didn't hurt as Gruner was thrown out at second base. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning. El Dorado 2, Hayes 0. So the Broncos will come up to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast. If you do, they are free to view and everything, but they're not free to produce. If you'd like to donate to our broadcasts, you can email me or contact Doug Bell or Vicky Bell here with the Broncos. Matt Holcomb will lead off the 4th inning for El Dorado. First pitch from Fletcher off the plate, ball 1. Holcomb flew out to right field in his first at bat. (2-0) El Dorado, bottom of the 4th inning. Aaron Fletcher winds and deals, and this one is off the plate as well, 2-0. Matt Holcomb is signed to play at Louisiana Tech University next year. And the pitch, that's in there. High strike for strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. Full house here at McDonald Stadium tonight. I wish I could pan my webcam around so you could get a look at this crowd. It is filled up here tonight. It's terrific. 2 balls and a strike. And this one inside, and that may have clipped Holcomb. It did. Slider just kept on coming in. So Matt Holcomb on base via the hit by pitch. So John Eberhardt now coming up. He grounded out to first in his first at bat. Holcomb over at first base, and the first pitch, fastball high. 4-1. John Eberhardt, 5'9", 185 from Kentucky Wesleyan. Hitting .368 on the season. And the pitch, that one's in there for strike one. The Broncos are at Liberal Monday through Thursday, and then we're back on the air here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as Bethany, Oklahoma comes to town. Eberhardt laces one to short, caught, and fired back over to first base for a double play. Alan Beer with a nice catch and a quick throw over to first to double up Holcomb. Hard to blame Matt on that one. That line drive looked like it was signaled for left field, but it wasn't struck as well as maybe we thought off the bat, and Beer made the catch, quick throw to first, and 2 away, and here's Josh Galvin. And Galvin rips one out to center field, but Michael Burns will make the catch and retire the Broncos here in the 4th inning. So we'll head to the 5th inning. El Dorado continues to lead the Hayes Larks by a score of 2-0. We're back in a moment here on YouTube. So we'll head to the top half of the 5th inning, and it's 8, 9, and 1, the scheduled 3 for the Hayes Larks here in the top of the 5th. Alan Beer, Carter Hankins, and Michael Burns. Beer struck out in the 2nd inning. The Larks had runners at third base in both the 1st and 2nd innings. Couldn't come up with the big hit. Morales has gotten into a pretty good groove since then. And a swing and a miss from Beer. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch upstairs on Beer for ball 2. Alan Beer is a Tulsa, Oklahoma native. He goes to Bradley University. And the 2-1. Man, apologize for that as we lost our connection. Michael Burns just singled out into center field, and the Hayes Larks have runners at first and third here in the fifth inning with one away. I'm not sure if this got on the air before we got knocked off. Mentioned Josh Witherspoon, pitcher for the El Dorado Broncos. His uncle, Robert Noonan, passed away 20 years ago today, and the family wanted to remember Robert here on the air, so kind of a bittersweet day for the Witherspoon family as we celebrate Robert Noonan's life. So one out in the fifth. Brooks Ballesteri up with runners at first and third. Burns is over at first, and Ballesteri looking to bunt. This one's low, and Galvin able to keep it in front. Alan Beer struck out, then Carter Hankins was hit by a pitch, and Michael Burns singled, and there's runners at the corners for the Larks. Burns stole a base in the first inning. And Ballesteri bunting, kind of a safety squeeze. Woodkey getting over to cover first base. So a safety squeeze coming halfway down the line was Hankins, and then he retreated. And that out recorded 1-4. So it goes as a sacrifice. Now the tying run down at second base for Reggie Wilson. 2 outs for the Larks here in the fifth inning. Wilson a strikeout and a single, 1 for 2. And the pitch from Morales upstairs, ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Reggie Wilson. And the pitch, and that one's low. Galvin able to block it. Wilson from Oklahoma City University. Good-looking ball player. He's batting .366 on the season. He's driven in 7. He's got 2 out there right now. Sun still drenching the center field and right field portions of Brad Long Field, but most of the players now starting to drift into the shadows as the sun sets here in El Dorado. 2 balls and no strikes to Wilson. And the pitch and a swing and a miss, and that bat flies all the way out to Jake Woodkey at second base. So for the second time in this game, we've seen a Lark swing and lose his bat. Two balls and a strike for Reggie Wilson. Josh Galvin from Kentucky Wesleyan talking to his pitcher Andrew Morales from Kentucky Wesleyan. 2 balls and a strike. Runners at second and third for the Larks. They trail 2-0. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. Watching Clayton Dalrymple out in right field trying to shield the sun as the pitch is being delivered. That sun's probably getting into a worse spot for maybe center field, but especially right field. Wilson steps out, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Morales trying to wiggle out of trouble again. And the righty winds and deals. This one's fouled off. The Larks in the first inning got their first 2 runners on, but 3 straight strikeouts ended the first. They were able to get Derek Dickerson over to third base in the second inning, but could not plate him. They've been quiet through the third and the fourth, but making noise here in the fifth inning. 2-0 El Dorado. A 2-2 count to Reggie Wilson. And the pitch, curveball, upstairs, ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Derek Mount waits on deck for Hayes. And the pitch, chopped out to second base. Woodkey fields it quickly over to first, and the Broncos are out of trouble in the fifth inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We're halfway through from McDonald Stadium. El Dorado 2, Hayes 0. Back in a moment here on YouTube. So here comes Tony Colsing for the Broncos. Leading off the bottom of the fifth inning. Colsing 0 for 1, a ground out to third in his first at bat. First pitch from Aaron Fletcher inside, ball 1. Fletcher has been very good to this point. He's allowed 2 unearned runs. His defense failed him in the third inning. 2 infield errors. Helped the Broncos get 2 runners in. Colsing chops one to third, and that one's foul. Ballesteri charging there, and it just hit foul. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Tony Colsing out of South Dakota State University. 5'11", 175. His hometown is Chaska, Minnesota. And Aaron Fletcher brings it home, and Colsing swings over the top of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Colsing, Ware, and Woodkey scheduled to hit here for the Broncos. The 1-2, and that's in there. Strike 3 looking. So here comes Grant Ware. Grant reached on an error in the third inning, a grounder to second. That was an errant throw. Then Jake Woodkey got the first hit for the El Dorado Broncos. It was a bunt single. Ware tried to go from first to third, and he was out at third. Here's a ball bouncing and hitting Ware. Ball 1. Two runs for El Dorado in the third inning. That's where we stand, 2-0 Broncos. And the 1-0 pitch from Aaron Fletcher. Fastball away, ball 2. Other games tonight in our league, Dodge City playing a doubleheader tonight at Liberal. Hayesville is at Derby, and Bethany, Oklahoma is at Wellington. Here's a 2-0 pitch outside, ball 3. Both teams sporting their camo uniforms tonight, celebrating the 4th of July. Here's the 3-0 to Grant Ware. That one's piped in there for strike 1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Grant Ware out of Tarleton State University. And the 3-1 lifted foul territory, giving chase is Gruner, but well out of his range, and now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Grant Ware. Parents are in the crowd here tonight. They were here last night as well. And the 3-2, low for ball 4. So Grant Ware draws a walk, a 1-out walk. And Jake Woodkey will step on up. 2-0 El Dorado in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ballesteri playing not on the grass, but on the just right at the cutout there. Woodkey had a bunt single his first at bat, and he slaps one foul into the Hayes bullpen. Clayton Dalrymple waits on deck, so back-to-back K-Staters here for El Dorado. And the 0-1 pitch, and that one's tapped foul for strike 2. The second baseman, Derek Mount, shading towards second base, so with the first baseman Hankins holding on Ware, there's a nice hole between first and second, as you can see on your webcam. No balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch, that one's low, ball 1. Aaron Fletcher from the University of Houston. Hometown is Houston, Texas. And he's pitched a nice ball game to this point. He's given up just 2 base hits. But 2 unearned runs has him down 2-0. Ware's on the move. Woodkey hits one out to right center field. Ware waits to see if it's going to be caught. It is by Burns. And Ware has to return. So 2 away, and here comes Clayton Dalrymple. So here's Clayton Dalrymple. Clayton struck out in the first and then reached on a third base on an error by Ballesteri. It turned out to be a 3-base error. And he eventually scored on Tyler Sutherland's double. Dalrymple squares and looks at strike 1. So no balls and a strike to Clayton Dalrymple, the leading hitter for the Broncos. Dalrymple coming into this game hitting .430. Fletcher will fire over to first base, and Ware is back in time. Tyler Sutherland waits on deck for El Dorado. Ware gets his lead off of first. He's going. He's picked off on his way down to second, and he might have gotten in there. He did. So Grant Ware will get a stolen base. He was picked off, but he hustled his way down there to make it. So now a runner in scoring position for Dalrymple. No balls and one strike. Two to zero Broncos. And Fletcher comes home, and Dalrymple looks at ball one. One ball and one strike to Dalrymple. The Broncos got their 2 runs. They got their 2 hits and received 2 errors, all in the 3rd inning. Other than that, Fletcher's been pretty much in cruise control here tonight. Burns shades to the left field side of center field. And the pitch from Fletcher. And Dalrymple committed, and it's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes to Dalrymple. And the pitch from Fletcher, curveball, bounces in, and trying to get to third is Ware. That ball passed Ballesteri, but not far enough for Ware to advance. So a pass ball. Two balls and 2 strikes to Dalrymple. Grant Ware down at third base. And now, boy, they kind of put almost a shift here on Dalrymple. The second baseman, Mount, playing almost behind the base. Big hole between first and second for Clayton. Here's the 2-2. And that one's hit out into right center field. That one's going to skip down. Dalrymple's got at least a double. Makes the turn on his way to third. And Dalrymple with a sliding triple. So Clayton Dalrymple, an RBI triple, and the Broncos lead 3-0. Grant Ware comes in easy. So 3-0 El Dorado. They haven't had a ton of chances tonight, but they have been cashing in when they have had chances. Now Sutherland up there with Dalrymple down at third base, and Tyler looks at strike one. 1 for 2 is Sutherland, an RBI double in the 3rd inning. Just the 3rd hit of the night off of Aaron Fletcher. And the 0-1 pitch. That one's low, ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fletcher's got his sign, the 1-1 pitch. 2 away here in the home half of the 5th inning. And Sutherland had a notion, but held up, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Action down in the Hayes Larks bullpen. And the 2-1. Fastball in at the knees for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tyler Sutherland. Sutherland, hometown of our Kansas City, Kansas. He's out of Neosho County Community College, 6'4", 200. Bats and throws left-handed. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's low, ball 3. Wade Hanna waits on deck for the Broncos. Full count to Sutherland. And the pitch, curveball, just tipped foul, and that got a piece of Dickerson, the catcher. Umpire was ready to give him a few moments to get some feeling back in that hand, but Dickerson grabbed the ball and said, I'm ready to go. So another 3-2 pitch coming up from Aaron Fletcher. Sutherland stands in, 3-2. And the pitch, and Sutherland fights it off, foul. So we'll do it again. Sutherland's fought off a couple of tough pitches from Fletcher. And the 3-2 again, and this time Fletcher gets his man. But a Clayton Dalrymple RBI triple gives the Broncos a 3-0 lead over the Hayes Larks. Stay tuned, the 6th inning is coming up next here on YouTube. You are on camera. And welcome back. See some people coming on the webcam there. Bill doing trivia, and they like to come into my window, and so they got some free camera time. Top of the 6th inning, the El Dorado Broncos leading the Hayes Larks by a score of 3-0. 3-3-0 for El Dorado, 0-4-2 for the Larks. Here's a one-hopper over to Colsing at third, over to first to retire Derek Mount. And Evan Gruner now comes up. Evan Gruner, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Here's one fouled right back. Almost got over the netting into maybe our area. But the netting saved us. Next pitch, ball 1. And welcome back. We head to the bottom of the sixth inning. And it'll be Hannah, Holcomb, and Eberhardt for the Broncos. A new pitcher into the game for Hayes. It's number 15, Nick Goza, out of Delta State. He's from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Wade Hanna stepping in 0 for 2 tonight, and he lifts one to shallow right field. Gruner coming in, and he'll make the catch for the first out of the inning. So here comes Matt Holcomb. For Goza, this is his 7th game of the season. He's started 3. Come out of the pen 4 times now. 21 and a third innings. He's given up 22 hits, 14 runs, 10 of those earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 18. He carries an ERA of 4.21. He's got a record of 2-2 on the season, and he leads off Holcomb with a strike and another one. No balls and 2 strikes. So Nick Goza taking over for Aaron Fletcher. And the 0-2 pitch, curveball, ball 1. Not a bad night for Fletcher. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs and 3 hits. Only one of those runs was earned. 5 strikeouts for Fletcher against just 1 walk, and he hit 1 batter. Here's the 1-2. Holcomb taps it down to third. Ballesteri's got it. It's a fair ball. His throw in the dirt, and again it goes into the dugout, or into the bullpen, I should say. Holcomb to second, and he's going to stay right there. So a base hit will be awarded to Holcomb, and then an error on Ballesteri. And Ballesteri, that's the 3rd time in this series that he's come charging in, throwing over to first, and has ended up throwing it into the bullpen. So with 1 away in the Broncos' 6th inning, John Eberhardt up there. Eberhardt's grounded out to first, lined into a double play in the 4th inning. He's 0 for 2. And he's fooled on the curveball, strike 1. No balls and a strike to John Eberhardt, the designated hitter. Goza's got his sign. He's ready to come home. And the pitch. And the fastball low, ball 1. 3-0 El Dorado, bottom of the 6th inning. Just 2 runs across for the Larks in 20 innings so far in this series. Goza will step off. Holcomb getting a decent lead off a second. Not really a stolen base threat. He's just got 1 on the season as Eberhardt fouls 1 off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Welch, Beer, and Hankins are the scheduled 3 for Hayes when the Larks come up in the 7th inning. And the 1-2, Eberhardt was fooled, and he swings and misses. So 2 away, and here comes Josh Galvin. Galvin batted left-handed his first time against the lefty Fletcher, batted right-handed the second time, and now he comes up left-handed here against the right-handed pitcher Goza. Galvin is 0 for 2, a strikeout in the 2nd inning, and a fly out to center field. 3-0 Broncos. Matt Holcomb stands down at second base. Reaching on a infield single and then getting to second on an error. Here's the first pitch in there for strike 1 to Josh Galvin. Jose and Migdalia. Galvin watching tonight. Send some good mojo this way. We'll see if we can get Josh a base hit and score Matt Holcomb. Here's the pitch. Curveball stays outside. Ball 1. Same two teams tomorrow night. 7 o'clock start. 9-inning game tomorrow night. Larks and Broncos. Here's the 1-1, and that one's in there for strike 2. Burns again shading towards left field, so that right center area where Dalrymple tripled last inning is there for the taking for Galvin if he can get around on one against Nick Goza from Delta State University. Galvin called time. Now he gathers himself. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Galvin. And the pitch. And Galvin, an emergency swing, and he able to spoil that pitch, foul it off. Shortstop, Alan Beer, playing kind of halfway as he tries to play with Holcomb. Galvin gets under one, skies it out to right field. Burns actually drifts over more towards center field, and Burns makes the catch to retire Galvin. So no runs, a hit. There was an error and 1 left. We'll head to the 7th inning. El Dorado 3, Hayes 0. And welcome back here to the top half of the 7th inning. Corky Welch leading off for Hayes, and he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes against the Broncos starter, Andrew Morales. And the 2-0 pitch, that is just off the plate, 3-0. Three balls and no strikes to the leadoff batter, Corky Welch, who is 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of flyouts. And a 4-pitch walk to Welch to lead off the 7th inning. Galvin will trot out and visit with Andrew Morales. And it looks like a pinch hitter maybe here. Brett Anderson's going to pinch hit here for Hayes. Young man from Arkansas State University. So Alan Beer was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And now Brett Anderson will hit for him. Welch down at first base, and the first pitch to Anderson right in there for strike one. 3-0 El Dorado, top of the 7th inning. Again, if your screen goes black all of a sudden and we've just lost our internet connection, we'll get it reconnected quickly. I'm not sure if you have to refresh when you're watching that or not. I know I do. 1 ball and 1 strike to Anderson. And the 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. Brett Anderson started game 1 of the doubleheader last night, went 0 for 2 before being lifted for a pinch hitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Morales' pitch in the turf. Galvin's got it, fires down to second, and the tag. And they're going to say safe. Woodkey tried to sell it. Galvin with a terrific block, and he came up throwing, but a lot of his throws down to second tonight have really been tailing towards right field, and that one did the same there. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Anderson with Welch down at second base. And the pitch, and that's right in there for strike 3. That spot in the order, the number 8 spot for the Larks, 3 strikeouts. So Carter Hankins will come up, the first baseman. Hankins struck out in the 2nd inning, was hit by a pitch in the 5th, advanced to 3rd, but did not come home. Welch dancing off a second, and the first pitch is outside for ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Andrew Morales, the Broncos starter, still out there, and this one way outside, and a nice stop by Galvin. 2 balls and no strikes. Michael Burns, who's 2 for 3, is on deck for Hayes. Action down in the El Dorado bullpen. And Morales comes home, and that pitch in there for strike 1. Kind of buckled the knees a bit there of Carter Hankins. Pitching coach Zach Beery has to love what he's getting from Andrew Morales. 3-0 on the season is Morales. Two balls and 1 strike to Hankins. And the pitch, chopped foul towards 3rd. Colson racing after it, glances off his glove and into the bullpen of the El Dorado Broncos. Morales wants to talk to Galvin. Our email address, cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. Feel free to drop me an email, whether you're watching live or if you're watching on the archive. Games are archived shortly after the final out is recorded. And you can watch them all right here on the Kurt Caden YouTube channel. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hankins. And Morales comes home, and a swing and a miss. Strike 3 of Hankins. So now 2 away, and Michael Burns comes up. Burns with a single in the first, a ground out to short in the third, and a single in the 5th inning. 2 for 3 is Burns. Michael Burns from Wichita State University. Hometown is Littleton, Colorado. And a check swing called for a strike, strike 1. Some non-Bronco fireworks being shot off out in left center field. I'm sure as night is falling here, I'm sure we'll be hearing more and more of the fireworks here in El Dorado. Burns hits one out to right field for a base hit. Dalrymple's got it, but that will plate Welch. Dalrymple with a solid throw to second to hold Burns there, but an RBI single for Michael Burns. And he is 3 for 4 tonight. So the Larks are on the scoreboard. 3-1 our score. And with Ballesteri coming up, Zach Beery will walk out and talk with his starter, Andrew Morales. Corky Welch got on with a 4-pitch walk to lead off this inning. Advanced on a wild pitch to second. Anderson, the pinch hitter, struck out. Hankins struck out, but Burns with a nice 2-out single plated Welch. So Morales' night is done. We'll give you the new pitcher's name and the numbers on Morales in a moment. 3-1 El Dorado. We're in the top half of the 7th inning on YouTube. So the El Dorado Broncos make a pitching change. Chris McKeehan comes into the game, but let's tell you about Andrew Morales. 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 10 strikeouts for Morales. What a night for Andrew. He walked 3 and hit 1 batter. So you'd imagine that pitch count with 10 strikeouts and 3 walks was way up there. So Zach Beery pulls the plug on Morales and brings in Chris McKeehan. McKeehan got the win here on Monday night against Wellington. McKeehan 2-0 on the season. This is his 7th game. 15 innings pitched. He's given up 9 hits, 7 runs, 5 of those earned. He's walked 8 and struck out 9. Burns on the move quickly. Galvin's throw over Woodkey, but Grant Ware backing up beautifully. Made the catch. Otherwise, Burns would have been standing on third base. That first pitch by McKeehan was upstairs. Brooks Ballesteri. 0 for 1 officially. He walked in the first, laid down a sacrifice in the 5th, grounded out to second base in the 3rd inning. Burns on the move again, and he'll steal third with no throw. And Ballesteri looked at ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. So the Larks a single away from drawing closer. And that curveball in there, strike one. 2 balls and a strike to Ballesteri. Three to one, El Dorado, top of the 7th inning. The Larks have broken through with their first run of the game here in this inning. And the 2-1 pitch from McKeon, and that one's cued foul. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ballesteri. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the 7th inning. The Larks with Michael Burns down at third, and McKeon's pitch stays upstairs, ball 3. Chris McKeon. Got to visit with him during the second game of the doubleheader Monday night, letting me know that it is officially pronounced McKeon, but he's been called McKeon so many times that he goes by that as well. Here's the 3-2, and Ballesteri spoils that pitch, just fouls it off, and you'll see another pitch from McKeon. Full count to Brooks Ballesteri. Hitting .217 on the season. And the 3-2. Lifted out to center field. Wade Hanna will have that one, and the inning is over. Michael Burns singled in the first run for the Larks. Hayes gets 1 run on 1 hit. No errors. 1 man left on base. Time to stretch here in El Dorado. Broncos 3, Larks 1. Back in a moment on YouTube. And take me out to the ball game played here during the 7th inning stretch. Everyone's standing, as you can see on your webcam, and Tony Colsing will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning against Nick Goza, and he fouls off the first pitch. That ricocheted back into play, so a couple of members from the bullpen run it down. No balls and a strike. And Colsing a check swing, and he did check it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tony Colsing 0 for 2 here tonight. A ground out to third and a strikeout looking. Here's the 1-1. And again, Colsing able to hold up. 2 balls and a strike. Noah Lee and Drew Johnson rolling through with food. That's always, catchers always have food. 2 balls and a strike. And the pitch, and Colsing fouls it out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fireworks continue to go off. Here's the 2-2. And nearly came back around the inside corner. Ball 3. Goes to wanted that one. So a full count to Tony Colsing. And the pitch, and that one's outside. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk for El Dorado. And that's just the second time tonight that El Dorado has gotten their leadoff batter on. The Broncos, as I mentioned earlier, haven't had a ton of opportunities. Fletcher and Goza have done a nice job, but when El Dorado has had chances, they've come up with big hits. A Tyler Sutherland double scored one. Clayton Dalrymple, a 2-out triple, scored one. Squaring to throw. To bunt there was Ware. The runner, Colsing, was way off of first base, but Hankins was coming in for the bunt, and he tried to recover, slid to the seat of his pants. And the throw from the catcher, Dickerson, fortunate for Hayes, was right down low, and Hankins made a nice catch from his backside. 1 ball and no strikes to Grant Ware. Ware squaring and bunting it foul. One ball and 1 strike to Grant Ware. Ware reached on an air in the third inning and walked and scored in the 5th inning. Ballesteri creeping in. Hankins holding Colsing on at first. Squaring is Ware, and that curveball drops in for strike 2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now. El Dorado 3, Hayes 1, bottom of the 7th inning. Colsing with a good lead, and Goza will look him up. Tony Colsing, a leadoff walk for El Dorado. And again, a throw over to first. One ball and 2 strikes to Grant Ware. And the pitch. And that one just inside for ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch, and a swing and a miss from Grant Ware. So Grant unable to advance the runner, and now Jake Woodkey comes up with 1 away in the home 7th for El Dorado. Jake Woodkey, a bunt single in the 3rd inning. He came around and scored on Ballesteri's error. And then a fly out to center field in the 5th inning. Goza trying to keep Colsing honest over at first, and now the pitch, and Woodkey fouls it out of play. Oh, 1 count to Jake Woodkey. Clayton Dalrymple stands on deck and goes his curveball in there, strike 2. Three to 1 Broncos. 3-4-0 for El Dorado. 1-5-3 for Hayes. Curveball strays outside. Ball 2. Ball 1, I should say. 1 and 2. Nick Goza, hard-throwing right-hander, and Woodkey fouls off the 1-2 pitch. Jake Woodkey coming into this game, hitting 163, and he swings and misses at the high cheese. So after a leadoff walk, back-to-back strikeouts for Goza. And here comes Clayton Dalrymple. Dalrymple tripled in Grant Ware in the 5th inning. Dalrymple reached on a 3-base Ballesteri error in the 3rd and scored. So officially 1 for 3 for Dalrymple with a run scored and an RBI. 2 away here in the 7th, and Dalrymple looks at strike 1. Clayton gathers himself. Here comes the 0-1 from Goza, and that one's high and away, ball one. Dalrymple plays at Kansas State University. He's had a good week here at home. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a throw over to first, and Colsing's back in safely. Night falling here in El Dorado. Here's the 1-1. Dalrymple out in front of the curveball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big hole again out in right center field. That's where Dalrymple tripled in the 5th inning. And the 1-2. That one gets past the catcher, Dickerson. Colsing will head down to second base on the wild pitch. So the deuces are wild now for Dalrymple. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 7th inning. Base hit would score Colsing. Here's the pitch, and that one's high and away. Ball 3. Tyler Sutherland waits on deck. The Larks bullpen quiet. Bodies stirring down in the Bronco bullpen. Goza's got his sign. Here comes the 3-2. And Dalrymple just tipped that one foul. Goza came in with the curveball there on 3-2. What'll he do on this one? The 3-2 pitch, and Dalrymple rips it out to left field, but Reggie Wilson is right there to make the catch. So no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We'll head to the 8th inning. El Dorado 3, Hayes 1. So the 8th inning is upon us, and the Larks will send 3, 4, and 5 to the plate. It's Reggie Wilson leading off. Wilson 1 for 3. Been a tough out all series long. Left-handed batter is Wilson. Chris McKeehan back out for the Broncos, and he'll start Wilson off with a strike. McKeehan entered the game in the 7th inning and was able to get Ballesteri to fly out to center field after Andrew Morales went 6 2/3 tonight, allowing just 5 hits and 1 run. Wilson down to first base, and that one's going to be foul. So Wilson will get another shot at it here. 10 strikeouts tonight for Morales in his 6 2/3 of work. Wilson in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Derek Mount waits on deck for Hayes. McKeehan, deep breath, and now his pitch is low, ball 1. Galvin stays in the game, remains in the game, I should say, at catcher. Haven't seen any defensive changes for the Broncos except for McKeehan replacing Morales. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that one might have spiked off the plate and then ricocheted over the head of the umpire and Galvin. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the 2-2 pitch, and that one's low, ball 3. Good eye by Reggie Wilson. So a full count for Wilson. Hayes would love to get their leadoff batter on here to start off this 8th inning. The pitch from McKeon, swing and a miss, strike 3. Wonder how distracting it is for the batter with fireworks going off out there in the distance. Here's Derek Mount. Mount is 0 for 3. Mount a strikeout in the 1st inning, hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd, and grounded out the 3rd in the 6th inning. And he looks at ball 1. Mount, the 2nd leading hitter for the Larks, hitting .369 coming into play today. 0 for 3 will drop that a bit. Still a terrific hitter is Derek Mount. And the 1-0 just dropped in low for ball 2. Mount from Pearl River, southeast Louisiana. And the 2-0 looked like the umpire wanted to call a strike, didn't, and it's 3-0. Evan Gruner waits on deck for the Larks. 3 balls and no strikes to Mount. And the pitch, and that one's outside for ball 4. 4th walk allowed tonight by Bronco pitching. So Evan Gruner, the recipient of one of those 4 walks, along with 2 strikeouts. He's 0 for 2. He comes up to the plate for Hayes. Throw over to first, and Mount is back. Derek Dickerson, the catcher, in the on-deck circle for the Larks. McKeehan fires it in low, and stealing was Mount, and Galvin couldn't get it out of his glove. So the Larks are showing off some aggressiveness now. They're starting to steal bases almost every inning. It seems like when they're getting on, they're stealing a base. So now down at second base is Mount. Here comes the first pitch, or the second pitch, I should say, and that's fouled off. 1 ball and 1 strike to Evan Gruner. You can hear, might be able to hear through the microphone, the popping and banging of fireworks. Maybe even see them on your video stream. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Gruner. That one's inside. Galvin with a nifty backhanded stop there. 2 balls and a strike. 3-1 El Dorado here in the top of the 8th inning. Here comes the 2-1, and McKeehan steps off. Two balls and a strike to Evan Gruner, and the pitch lifted into foul territory, and that's going to elude all the Broncos and fall for strike 2. Giving chase over there in left field was Tyler Sutherland, Tony Colsing, and Grant Ware also giving chase. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 away for Hayes here in the 8th inning. Left-handed batter is Evan Gruner. McKeehan has his sign and the pitch, and Gruner taps it foul. It hit off of him and then ricocheted into fair territory. It's got to be distracting. Probably more so for the batter than anyone else. Fireworks going off all over the place. 2 balls and 2 strikes. McKeehan comes home, and that pitch just a bit high, ball 3. So a full count now to Evan Gruner. Derek Dickerson waiting on deck. And the pitch from McKeehan, lifted out into right field. Dalrymple doesn't see it. It's way out there, and it lands fair and safe out in right center field. I was watching Dalrymple. That was great wood put on that one by Gruner. Banged it off the wall, and that'll be a triple for Gruner. And that scores Derek Mount. And the Larks are within 1 run with the tying run down at third and just 1 out. Dalrymple came in. Very strange. And then Wade Hanna out in center field was going towards the wall. So I was trying to figure out who to watch there. And all of a sudden I saw Hanna kind of crash into the wall and gave a great effort. Couldn't make the catch. And here comes Zach Beery out. So the Larks making it interesting here again, 3-2 in favor of El Dorado. The tying run down at third base with just 1 out. And it looks like the Broncos will make a pitching change. So McKeehan will exit. We'll give you the new pitcher in a moment. 3-2 El Dorado, top of the 8th. We're back in a moment here on YouTube. So Derek Feige is going to be the new pitcher for the Broncos. Feige, 6'1", 170, hometown Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He goes to South Dakota State University. Feige, 12 innings pitched on the season. He's given up 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those earned. He's walked 9, and struck out 7. 3.75 ERA. He's got a win and a loss on the season, along with 4 saves. And Fiji's first batter will be Derek Dickerson. Infield comes in for El Dorado, trying to hold on to the 3-2 lead. Fiji's first pitch to Dickerson, in there for strike 1. Fiji would love a strikeout here or a ball hit right to an infielder. Evan Gruner tripled in. Derek Mount, he stands at third with 1 away. And the 0-1 pitch, and that's lifted out into left field. That will be deep enough to score. Gruner making the catch is Sutherland, but scoring is Gruner, and we are tied. Dickerson does exactly what he needed to do there. So now 2 away, and Derek Berginski will come up and hit. Welch, I believe, was pinch ran for earlier. So Berginski, with his first at bat coming up of the night. Berginski in his 5th game. He's come up 12 times on the season. He's still looking for that first hit. Bases are clear, 2 away, but the Larks with 2 runs here in the 8th have tied it up at 3. Fiji's first pitch in there for strike 1 to Berginski. El Dorado will have 2, 3, 4 coming up when they come to bat in the 8th inning. That's Sutherland, Hanna, and Holcomb. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Fiji, just off the plate, ball 1. So a ball and a strike. And the 1-1, low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Derek Fiji pitching to Derek Berginski. Right-handed batter is Berginski. And the 2-1. And that one's in there for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 of the Larks' 3 runs have scored after getting on base via the walk. Here's the 2-2. And Berginski lifts it out to center field. Wade Hanna coming in and makes a running catch. But damage done by Hayes. 2 runs on a hit. No errors and no one left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. El Dorado 3, Hayes 3. Back in a moment on YouTube. So the Bronco fans trying to encourage their team. El Dorado has led all night long until just a few moments ago when Derek Dickerson sack fly scored to Evan Gruner, and we're tied 3-3. The Broncos scored 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th. Hayes scored 1 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th. And the first pitch from Goza to Sutherland is a ball 1. Sutherland 1 for 3 tonight. And you look at ball 2. So Fiji and Goza are now the pitchers of record here tonight. And the 2-0 pitch up high, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes to Sutherland. Sutherland, a dangerous guy to have on base. He's very aggressive. Here's the 3-0 from Goza, and that's up high. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk to Tyler Sutherland. And that will send a couple of gentlemen down to the Larks bullpen. Goza came into the game in the 6th inning. And now they're going to stall a little bit, send the catcher out and talk to Goza. Goza's allowed just a single and now 2 walks into his 3rd inning of work here tonight. So Wade Hanna, 0 for 3, 2 flyouts to right field and a strikeout up to the plate. Chad Gerwick will bunt anyone in his lineup. Wouldn't be surprised to see Wade square around, and he does, and he punts it straight up into the air, but behind the catcher Dickerson, and foul ball. So it's 0-1 to Wade Hanna. And again, Dickerson will talk to Goza. Righty and a lefty warming up right now for the Larks. No balls and a strike. Goza dealing with Wade Hanna. Hanna now he squares around, and he bunts it down, and that should do the trick. Goza fires to first, a little bit low. Nice catch there by Hankins. So Wade Hanna, a successful sacrifice. Sutherland goes down to second base, and now here comes Holcomb. Your first baseman, Matt Holcomb. Matt Holcomb, 1 for 2 officially, singled in the 6th inning, was hit by a pitch in the 4th, flew out to right field in the 2nd inning. And Holcomb looks at ball 1. Matt Holcomb leading the team in RBI with 20. Bottom of the 8th inning, we're tied at 3. And the pitch, and that one's outside, ball 2. John Eberhardt on deck for El Dorado. Two balls and a strike to Matt Holcomb, the first baseman. Holcomb with a 370 average, and that's upstairs for ball 3. So a 3-0 count here. I would be surprised if Holcomb got the green light here on 3-0, but we'll see. Goza's got his sign. Here we go. The 3-0 pitch with 1 away in the 8th. And that's upstairs. Ball 4. Holcomb walks. None of them were close. Not sure if that was the unintentional walk there or what, but looks like the Larks might be making a pitching change now as they send coach out, and they're going to bring in a lefty to deal with John Eberhardt. We'll tell you about him in a moment. El Dorado with 2 on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied at 3. More in a moment from El Dorado. Well, we were hoping to tell you about the new Hayes Larks pitcher, but his name is not on our roster. His number is 18, but there is no number 18 on the roster. He's a left-hander. And watching his warm-ups, looks like he's got pretty good heat on his fastball. So hopefully we'll be able to get a name for you. Hayes tied the game up in the top of the 8th inning with 2 runs. Goza goes 2 1/3 innings. He didn't give up a hit, but he struck out 3 and he walked 3. Check that. He did give up 1 hit. 1 hit given up by Goza. El Dorado just 4 hits on the night, but they've scored 3. 3 errors from Hayes has helped the Broncos' cause. And the pitch. That one's down low. Ball 1 to John Eberhardt. Eberhardt 0 for 3 tonight. A ground out to first. He lined into a double play, and he struck out in the 6th inning against Goza. Tyler Sutherland down at second. Matt Holcomb over at first base, and the pitch, and Eberhardt fouls it straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Josh Galvin waits on deck for the El Dorado Broncos. Although Elijah Christensen is swinging a bat down there. So the 1-1 pitch coming up. Curveball in there for strike 2. I think the umpires thought there was 3 strikes. I thought he gave a kind of a 3rd strike ring up there and just made a mistake. It's just a 2nd strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eberhardt. And another curveball, and that one's, look out, lined right near the Hayes dugout. One of the coaches who was up on the top step, he'll go down to the 2nd step, get a little more protection from that fence that guards their dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eberhardt. And the pitch, that one's way outside. Dickerson with a nice grab. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Eberhardt, high chopper to the pitcher and throws over to first to retire Eberhardt. Good news for El Dorado. They got Sutherland down at 3rd and Holcomb to 2nd. Bad news, they've got 2 away. And Elijah Christensen's going to pinch hit. So Galvin was 0 for 3.
Carlton State, number 34, Elijah Christensen.
So Christensen, he appeared in game 1 last night of the doubleheader. And Elijah went 0 for 3, sat out game 2, and he's just coming up now for the first time tonight. Broncos a base hit away from reclaiming the lead here. 3-3 our score. And the first pitch in there, a curveball strike. No balls and a strike to Elijah Christensen out of Tarleton State University, batting .313 on the season. 16 runs batted in for Elijah. And he's fooled on this one, 0-2, swings and misses. So now Christensen has to protect that dish. No balls and 2 strikes. Sutherland down at 3rd. Holcomb at 2nd. And time is called. Number 18 is all we know the pitcher by. No balls and 2 strikes here to Elijah Christensen. And the pitch. And grounded into the hole. A diving stop by Ballesteri. Gets to his feet and throws out Christensen. So Ballesteri, who's had a tough weekend throwing the baseball, makes a terrific play to end the threat in the 8th inning. We'll head to the 9th inning Hayes and El Dorado tied at 3. Back in a moment on YouTube. Well, the Broncos, who have been pretty opportunistic tonight, unable to cash in 2 walks in the 8th inning. And a fantastic play by Ballesteri at 3rd to retire Elijah Christensen. So we're into the 9th inning, and the first pitch is a ball to Brett Anderson. (3-3), top of the 9th inning. So 1 ball and no strikes to Brett Anderson. Derek Feige back out there for El Dorado. And that's in there for a strike. Feige's got his sign. And the pitch, low ball. I think that's 2-1. Or is it 1-1? There's 1 strike for sure here on Anderson. And he chops one towards second. Woodkey's got it. Fires over to first to retire Brett Anderson. And a pinch hitter now. R.J. Williams will come out and hit for Carter Hankins. Cameron Knight is now catching for the Broncos. Christensen hit for Galvin, and now Knight is catching for the Broncos. R.J. Williams coming up out of University of Texas, Arlington. Hometown is Heath, Texas. 1 away here in the top of the 9th inning. 3-3 score. We're moving along pretty good. We've really, a lot of pitching changes and whatnot, and Feige plunks Williams on the first pitch. That's the second time the number 9 batter has been hit by a pitch. And now Michael Burns comes up, and he has been the hitting hero for the Larks tonight. He is 3 for 4, 3 singles, 3 stolen bases, and an RBI. So Williams leads off of first base. We've seen a lot of aggressive base running from Hayes here. First pitch high, ball 1. R.J. Williams has 4 stolen bases on the season. Certainly a threat to go. 1 ball and no strikes to Burns. Feige fires it in, and a strike, 1-1. Brooks Ballesteri waits on deck for the Larks. One ball, one strike, one away here in the top of the ninth inning. Feige's pitch lifted into right field. Dalrymple giving chase, and Clayton Dalrymple with the sliding catch just in fair territory. Nice catch by Dalrymple. There isn't much this Clayton Dalrymple doesn't do well. So now 2 away, and that's a very tough out that the Broncos just retired. So here comes Ballesteri. Ballesteri 0 for 2 tonight. He's got a walk and a sacrifice. And the pitch from Feige up high, ball 1. Reggie Wilson, another tough out, waits on deck. Decent lead by Williams off of first. Feige fires it in, and that's low, ball 2. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast tonight. Feel free to drop us an email. Our email address, cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. 2 balls and no strikes to Ballesteri. Walked back in the first inning. And the pitch, that's upstairs, ball 3. 2 of the 3 runs for the Larks scored after reaching base via the walk. 3 balls and no strikes. And the pitch from Feige. Not sure where that was. It's ball 4. So now here's Reggie Wilson. 1 for 4 tonight. Zach Beery's going to walk out. Scoreless after 2 innings. El Dorado plated 2 unearned runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning to take a 2-0 lead. They got a earned run in the 5th inning and led 3-0. Hayes got 1 back in the 7th to make it 3-1. And then 2 runs by the Larks in the 8th inning. They got to let off the inning with a strikeout, then a walk, a triple, and a sacrifice fly. Runners at first and second for Reggie Wilson. Wilson's been struck out twice tonight, grounded out to second, singled in the 3rd inning. So Zach Beery's said what he needs to say, and now Derek Feige has to go to work, and he'll step off the mound. Just looks a little uncomfortable out there right now. First and second for the Larks, 2 away in the 9th inning. And the pitch, Wilson taps it foul, strike 1. A fireworks show here at the stadium. Well, it's going on, but an official fireworks show will go on at the conclusion of this game. Veterans Night, it's a real special night here at the ballpark. Terrific opening ceremonies tonight. The color guard, the American Legion Riders. High fastball, swing and a miss from Wilson. How old was the young man who threw out the first pitch? 92? 92. And he threw a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Reggie Wilson. Crowd getting behind Derek Feige. Great crowd here tonight. Terrific atmosphere for baseball. Here we go with the 0-2 pitch. Feige brings it home. Fouled up into the air. Colsing and Knight give chase, but that will end up on the roof here at McDonald Stadium's press box. Talked with Derek Feige a couple weeks ago, and he said he's been trying to work on that strikeout pitch. He's been getting a lot of batters in 2-strike counts and has not been able to put a lot of them away. He'd love to put Wilson away here. No balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. And close. Not sure. It was on the plate. It must have been low. Ball 1. Wilson looked frozen at the plate. Either fooled or knew it was a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Feige brings it home, and it's in the turf, and a nice stop by Cameron Knight. R.J. Williams was hit by a pitch. He's down at second base. Brooks Ballesteri walked. He's at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Reggie Wilson. This is the pitch that Feige wants to get him on. Don't want to go 3-2. Here's the 2-2. Wilson laces one foul into the bullpen of Hayes. Wilson put good wood on it, but he was out in front just a bit. So it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Hayes and El Dorado tied at 3. The Larks 3.5 games behind El Dorado in the Jayhawk Northern Division. Here's the 2-2. Tapped up the middle, and Woodkey's got it. No chance to throw the runner out. Now Holcomb's got it, fires home to Cameron Knight, and they'll throw out R.J. Williams. So Coach Frank Leo rolled the dice. Woodkey gloved that one behind second base. Through to first. No chance of getting Wilson. Williams continued on running. And he's thrown out by a long way. Good throw by Holcomb. So we'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning. El Dorado and Hayes tied at 3. So a big defensive play by the Broncos to get out of trouble in the 9th inning. And now Tony Colsing will lead off the bottom of the 9th inning. The Broncos in this 4-game winning streak have 2 walk-off victories. Colsing looks at ball 1 from, again, number 18. We don't have his name. Apologize for that. He's not on the roster. Tony Colsing 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Here's the 1-0. And Colsing laces one into right field. A base hit for Tony Colsing. Sharp single past the second baseman, Derek Mount. So here comes Grant Ware. Ware tried to sacrifice Colsing in the 7th inning and failed to do so. I'll bet he's called to duty again here. Colsing with a modest lead off of first. Ware squares around. Ballesteri is right in his back pocket. Ware bunts it towards first, and it goes foul. Ballesteri, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you'd see it at this level or not, but it's almost tempting for Ware to just maybe shorten up and then chop at one because Ballesteri is right in his back pocket by the time that pitch is delivered. So no balls and a strike. Of course, if Ware can bunt it towards first, that should get Colsing down to second base. If Ballesteri gloves it, he's going to be looking to go to second. Ware squares around, and that pitch high, ball one. 1 ball and a strike. Reggie Wilson in the top of the 9th credited with a single. It was an infield single. But R.J. Williams was cut down at home plate by Matt Holcomb. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Grant Ware. He squares around, and he pulls it back. 2 balls and a strike as that slider came knifing into the back foot of Grant Ware. Two balls and a strike. Colsing about a 2-step lead off of first. Ware squares, and the fastball is bunted towards first, and that goes foul. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ware looks down to Chad Gerwick for the sign. Two balls and 2 strikes. Ware squares around, and that pitch inside, ball 3. So now a full count. Lots of wheels in motion here in El Dorado. Ware squares. Here's the full count pitch, and Ware taps it down. He lays it down beautifully, hustling down to first. Nearly beat it out. So at 3-2, number 18 knew he had to throw a strike. Chad Gerwick had faith in Grant Ware that he could lay it down, and he did. So the Broncos now with a couple of chances to try to get the walk-off win. Colsing down at second base, and here's the number 9 batter, Jake Woodkey. Woodkey's 1 for 3 tonight. Singled and scored in the 3rd inning, flew out to center in the 5th, struck out in the 7th inning. Woodkey's hit was a bunt single. And the pitch, and that one's in there for strike 1. Woodkey nodding his head, saying, yep, that was right on in there for a strike. Bottom of the 9th inning, El Dorado and Hayes tied at 3. And the 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. El Dorado winning a doubleheader here last night, 2-1 with a walk-off win in Game 1, then a 5-1 win in Game 2. Woodkey now in a hole, 0-2. And time called. 3-6-3 for the Hayes Larks. 3-5-0 for the El Dorado Broncos. Bottom of the 9th inning. And the pitch. Curveball, and Woodkey able to fight it off. Clayton Dalrymple waits on deck for El Dorado. Jake Woodkey out of Kansas State University. His glove work this year has been just sensational, whether it's at second base or shortstop. Here comes the 0-2. And Woodkey fights it off again, fouls it out of play. If we get to the 10th inning, the Larks will send Mount, Gruner, and Dickerson to the dish. No balls and 2 strikes to Jake Woodkey. Tony Colsing led off the inning with a single. He was sacrificed to second. He's down there at second base right now. And Woodkey again fouls off a tough curveball there from number 18. That one whistled, it looked like close to the Hayes dugout. The city fireworks show waiting for this game to come to an end so they can light off the fireworks. Lots of folks gathering outside the stadium now. And Woodkey calls time. You can't see it on your camera, but the parking lot to the right was pretty empty throughout much of the game. Now I look over there, it's full. People in their lawn chairs. Ready to see a win here. There's one hit up to first, gloved by the first baseman. He flips over to the pitcher to retire Woodkey. A terrific defensive play by, who was that down there? Number 29, Derek Dickerson. So Clayton Dalrymple now comes up. Woodkey robbed. Terrific play by Dickerson down at first base. And a meeting at the mound. So Dickerson is now at first base. We'll see if I can get the number of the catcher. Could be Garrett McKenzie. So long meeting. I'm sure talking to the pitcher about, you don't have to give in to Dalrymple. He's the best hitter on the Broncos team. Generally, managers, coaches don't want to lose to the best player. First base is open. Colsing is down at third. The shortstop is talking to the base umpire as if maybe we're going to have an intentional walk here. And they are going to walk Dalrymple. It makes sense in many circles. First off, Dalrymple, again, is the leading hitter for El Dorado. Also, it sets a lefty-on-lefty matchup. But Tyler Sutherland hits better against lefties than he does righties. So the second offering outside, ball two. Intentional walk being issued here to Clayton Dalrymple, so it's going to be on the shoulders of Tyler Sutherland. 2 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Not the city fireworks show, but there are fireworks. You can see them going off out in center field. So Dalrymple will take the walk and head down to first base. And now it's Tyler Sutherland. Three. Is our score. Broncos with 2 in the 3rd and 1 in the 5th. Hayes with 1 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th. Tyler Sutherland, 1 for 3, a double and a walk and an RBI. Michael Burns in center. Boy, he's playing shallow. And the pitch, Dalrymple will take off. That pitch gets past the catcher, and Colsing is in for the score. El Dorado with a walk-off wild pitch. Quite a finish for El Dorado. A wild pitch. Ricocheted hard off the backstop. Almost came back near the plate. It actually kind of went towards the Hayes dugout. And by the time the catcher, McKenzie, could get there, Tony Colsing scores the game-winning run. And the El Dorado Broncos, for the 3rd time in 5 games, with a walk-off victory. 4-3 the final score. Wow. I don't have the name of the pitcher. The winning pitcher is Derek Feige. The losing pitcher is number 18. The Broncos in the 9th inning score 1 run on 1 hit. There was a walk. Grant Ware with a sacrifice. And then the wild pitch scores Tony Colsing, who led off the inning with a single. Time of tonight's ball game, 3 hours and 3 minutes. So the El Dorado Broncos push their winning streak to 5. They have won 6 out of 7 this year against Hayes, and they'll look to make it 7 out of 8 tomorrow night. That'll be our next broadcast. 7 o'clock start. Hayes at El Dorado, game 4 of this 4-game series tomorrow night. Hope you enjoyed tonight's game. Big thanks to all the veterans that came out tonight. The American Legion, or the Legion Color Guard, or the Legion Freedom Riders were here. The Color Guard was here. Terrific, jam-packed crowd tonight. Great energy in the stadium. And the Broncos win it 4-3. So,